Welcome back to JK Rants and Reviews. I'm John. This is Caleb, and today we're going to be talking about the 1980 Friday the 13th original. Yes. We are very excited. We are hoping you're having a fantastic Friday the 13th. This movie I feel like doesn't get enough love, even though it is a classic. So yeah, let's get into it.
Actually, as a fan of Friday the 13th, I saw, like many did, I saw a lot of the sequels before I saw the first one. Honestly, I think I was about 14 or 15 before I saw the first film. And that wasn't all the way through. That's like bits and pieces here and there, enough to catch it. Yeah, I can't remember the first time I saw it the full way through, but it was way later than any of the sequels.
I want to say I was probably about 14 or 15, and it seems like Friday the 13th was always on TNT and always
USA
running.
and always on the Halloween like late night shows.
Right, and they always marathoned it.
Yeah.
This was the one franchise that you would always get a marathon of, and it seemed like the first one was just, for whatever reason, not on there.
Yeah.
I always missed it.
Or like they started at 3. They started when Jason gets his hockey mask, and they're like, we're going to go from here. Once the hockey mask hit, it was like everybody forgot about what happened with Betsy Palmer and what happened with Steve Dash. And that's really kind of sad because they both did fantastic jobs in what they were given.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think, like I said, I always caught these in the background, but then I think when I actually got into horror, I was like, I want to do this right. I want to go to the first one. This did throw me off guard because all you ever see is Jason, and you never saw this. But I will say that Betsy Palmer's fantastic, and she's kind of not really a Freddy Krueger, but kind of a Alfred Hitchcock, Norman Bates, mother-esque type villain. She's fantastic. She's not on screen very long. Unfortunately, it's kind of a whodunit, and once the surprise is over, it's just. It's good, but it just, I wish I would have had more Betsy Palmer in this movie.
Like, I would say if they ever went to reboot just the first film, since we know that it's Pamela Voorhees, maybe spend a little more time on her character. Mm-hmm. Maybe do a little more development with the relationship between her and Jason. Maybe a little, foreshadowing, backshadowing, whatever. And or fan films explaining some more of that too, because I do feel like that was a huge opportunity that was kind of missed based on where the franchise went after that, is more Betsy Palmer or more Pamela Voorhees, because wow.
Yeah. I do like how this, before we really get into it, I do like how this borrows heavily on Halloween and Psycho, Alfred Hitchcock. I mean, the music, you can tell, the cinematography, the isolation, yeah, I mean, I do have like some of the fake outs too with the camera and stuff like that. They did a lot of good things with this, so I do appreciate this first movie. I do feel like it took them a while to get a foothold on what actually this franchise would become, and then it would just take over everything else. But yeah, so we open up. You see the two counselors singing the song, and then they go off to make out and do whatever they're going to do, and then they get gutted.
Real quick intro, especially for the time with horror films. I feel like there was a lot more, like Halloween was one of the few, but I feel like there was a little more time space between what was happening,
right,
in a lot of horror films at the time.
Right. This starts off in 58. She kills the two, and they shut down the camp, and then this picks back up in 1979, and it's so they've reopened it. And the gal's going through the town. She meets Crazy Ralph, which is a fantastic character.
Crazy Ralph. Can we just... Man, I miss that kind of character.
Right? You're all doomed.
Like, what... That character stops... That type of character stops existing in part 6. That's the last known crazy character. And it's really sad because, I mean, there was an opportunity there in the reboot.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, you got a little bit with that gal, but not a whole lot.
Yeah, that was more a Texas Chainsaw feel.
Yeah.
Like the reboot Texas Chainsaw, which Platinum Dunes, that's a different argument, conversation, whatever. But yeah, I feel like Crazy Ralph and or the gentleman from Part 6 are a huge part of what make this franchise great when you think to actually what started it, because it's the doomsayer, and we all come from an area, I'm sure, where we all know the person in town that you're like,
it's always floating
don't make
around,
eye contact,
right,
or you're going to be in a 30-minute conversation about how we are all doomed.
I do wish that further sequels would have gone more into the town and how they isolate themselves from the camp more, and how they're afraid of it, and how they survive by not going anywhere near it. But then she gets a ride with the oil truck driver, and it kind of reminds me of Halloween 4, where you open up and you get all that dialogue from the security officer while they're riding the elevator. Just a quick little couple minute, boom, let's get you up to date. But this is something where I feel like a lot of people don't talk about and a lot of people don't remember, because even now, revisiting this, and I haven't seen this movie in a while, he brings you through a lot of history of the camp. The drowning, the murders, the fires, which you never hear really about again.
Yeah, and a poisoned lake.
That's fantastic. This is some really good background information.
And I feel like that could have been further explored or discussed, and it may have been brought up in like 2 or 3, but I feel like I don't recall it. And 3 is one of the ones I watched the most, so I feel like I would have picked up on it. I could have totally missed it.
Yeah. I just love the background that Betsy Palmer has been messed up and been doing stuff. Betsy Palmer. Pamela Voorhees has been messed up and been doing things to keep the counselors away from it. But anyway, so her acting's a little choppy, but the driver's fantastic. I love that scene. And then fast forward, I get the feeling that when you watch this, that I don't know if they're trying to get you to think that this is the final girl. She just has that final girl feel, that she's coming in out of nowhere and she's the one that'll save the day. And come to find out that it's actually, spoiler alert, Alice, who's already at the camp working there.
And I feel like a lot of people attribute that to A Nightmare on Elm Street, which was just a couple of years later, but it happened here first.
Yep.
Like, you get introduced to this character, you're following them, and bam, it's over.
Yep. This is an older movie made at a cheaper budget, but it doesn't feel too bad because they were smart and they kept it isolated. They kept the old towny feel. They kept the old woods and cabins and stuff like that, which probably wasn't expensive to use. You got some up and coming actors like Kevin Bacon, and you had a good scene where it's just like, now we're going to reopen this camp. We're going to bring some new characters just for, blood and gore. And so then they show up, and it takes, you get like a 20-minute character development, and then, once you've got a little bit of character development, a little investment in these characters, that's when stuff goes down. And it happens real fast.
It does.
I'm not sure what triggered her, but whatever it was.
I think it was Kevin Bacon's belly flop.
Yeah, into the water?
Yeah.
The horrible dive that somebody probably could have taught him by the time he was 20 or whatever
and
he
was.
was.
She was like, no, everybody's going to drown. I'm going to have to kill him.
Right. It feels like in this movie, like the acting is a little... it's not as high quality as some of the future ones and newer movies. And it's funny how a lot of people in this movie just stand there and take it. Like, I know that she's not a very imposing and threatening villain, but like the gal just like leans up against the tree, the Annie gal at the beginning, she just leans up against the tree and just after she runs for a little bit.
Well, I feel like it was also when you're working on a tight budget and you can't afford for anybody to get hurt, there may be something there as well. Like, they're like, okay, so you're just going to take it. And you didn't, maybe editing was a different beast than it is today as well.
Probably, yeah.
So I'm kind of forgiving of that. Actually, I haven't watched the first one in probably 6 months, which I know sounds like a terribly long time, but it's really not.
Yeah, for most people, it's like 6 years.
Probably. Yeah. And actually, when I started rewatching it, I started paying attention to the acting, and I thought overall with the dialogue and character interactions and people's reactions all seemed great, except for, I agree with you, when the kills come and when you have the final face-off. I feel like those were just a little bit forced, but I am forgiving based on the budget, the time, and you're working with all practical effects.
But it's just funny how, like, so the first kill is Annie.
Yes.
Right? And then you go from there and they get, I forget his name. He's got the jersey on. He gets called into the cabin or whatever, and then he's an off-screen death. He's on top. You got Kevin Bacon and his girl doing the thing on the bed.
The thing.
And and she just stuffs him on top, and apparently she's hiding below the bed the whole time the thing's going down. And then they get done. She goes off. Kevin Bacon gets it in the throat, which is still a great shot today. I mean, and unfortunately, DVD and Blu-ray and stuff take away from that magic because it's just so clean and clear. But it still looks great today.
Yeah.
Almost 40 years later.
And I know everybody brings this up, but the fact that the effect had almost failed and somebody ran in and like fixed it with the straw or the tube or whatever, fantastic work, because that still, it may not be the same as a gore effect today, but that still holds up. Yeah. It does really well.
Absolutely. So, I mean, I'm not really going to count Kevin Bacon as a ticket because he didn't know it was coming, and the other guy probably didn't know it was coming either. But the other gal, she turns on the faucet, and she's all freaking out looking around, and all of a sudden...
You see the shadow.
Boom! Like,
when you see the shadow of the axe, that scene alone for me always, like, yeah!
Yeah.
But yeah, she does just, like, wait for the axe to come down, like she's watching it instead of being like, I can push past.
And that axe goes... Deep.
Yeah, it does. It's a good shot. And I love the hitting of the lamp. That's just, or the ceiling light, how it just like,
boop, adds to the creepy. And then from there, let's see, the archery, that's a great spot, great scene with the turning on the lights, even though I think most people would freak out and run the other way.
Yeah, she's like deer in headlights, and I kind of understand where you're like, because her weird boyfriend...
Mm-hmm. Messed with her earlier.
Yeah, she was messed with earlier on the archery range, so she's probably like, really? Just like, for real, we're gonna do this now, and she's looking. So I'll let go of that, like, where she's just like, I'm gonna look and see what's gonna happen here. You go and get it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And then you got Alice, and I can't remember his name. The guy in the red poncho that's running around. He goes and checks the generator, and then he gets, I mean, basically an off-screen death. Jeez. Off-screen death.
Off-screen kill.
Off-screen death. He's an off-screen death.
Oscar the Grouch?
No, he's an off-screen death. He's a death. He's not a kill.
Well,
he's an off-screen kill.
Yeah.
He's an off-screen death is better, right? I don't know.
Kill is...
He's an off-screen kill for, yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway... So this is where some of the problems come from other people kind of nitpicking the story a little bit. So you got Pamela apparently slit his throat, shot him with these arrows, and then hung him up on a door, which I'm not saying she's probably not inventive. I mean, and then she throws that gal through the window at the end. Like, God, I mean, how strong is she? And then she's got kind of the fight at the end is great, but it does seem like she's not as physically threatening as she should be for what she's been doing. And we also have the guy who was fixing up the camp. He gets kind of an off-screen death. Like,
yeah, I feel like it's
not bad. It's just funny how many people just took it because Betsy Palmer, because Pamela Voorhees isn't very threatening and she's kind of creative and creepy. Yeah.
I'm okay with it just because it adds to the effect of the creepy. It makes the survivor girl feel far more isolated.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm okay with it because also with the assistance of things like rope and pulleys, she could get a lot done pretty quick, and she seems to be like country smart. Yeah. I mean, she walks around, she knows the generator, she knows how to use tools and weapons. She seems like a survivalist type of person, so I'm okay with it. I think that maybe her actually interacting with the person that she's toying with and going to kill was the thing that was out of her element, and that's where it gets weird.
Yeah. It's funny though, because like if you look at this movie from before the reveal of Jason's mother, it's not high up. I mean, you can throw nostalgia at it, you can throw whatever you want, but when Pamela Voorhees hits the screen and starts freaking out and getting creepy, it takes it to the next level, and it's what saves this movie. And I mean, she is worth however much you paid her, which probably wasn't a lot.
Probably not, especially at the time.
Right.
Like,
I heard she did it just for a car. That's what I've seen.
If anybody out there is hiring somebody for a Wrangler or a Ram, I am interested.
Yeah, I'll take one of those too.
Yeah,
if you need something.
Not like one car for both of us, but like I get one, he gets one.
Right. Right.
Yeah, just let us know.
But the final fight scene is pretty good. It's a little drawn out, but it's intense the whole time. I mean, you do get a sense that Alice isn't a. I mean, she starts off with the bat in one hand awkwardly, and then she gets this little like poker thing, and then it's like, what are you gonna do with this? Like,
I don't understand. And then right after that, she just loses momentum with weapons, and she's walking past things that,
all the time,
although may not be like death-threatening, could be used in a moment. Like even plates, they're enough to shatter and be distracting.
Right. Well, she just drops the bat when the body comes through the door. She drops the bat and just walks off. Well, and then I mean, they have a cat and mouse game. She knocks her down the one time and leaves. I get that. You're a little freaked out and you leave. But then she hits her over the head with the skillet.
An iron skillet.
And drops her and there's blood on the ground. So I get that you might not think you need a double tap, but man, this chick just came at you again the second time. She's determined to kill you. End her.
Yeah, and since you don't know when help is coming and you don't have access to a phone because you've tried and they've shown the phone lines cut, I think maybe it's necessary to either restrain or kill.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean...
And she just walks away. She's like, yep, you lay there.
In this instance, I think I'm going to just finish it. But, I mean, who knows? Yeah. I mean, traumatizing and this thing... I mean, like, everything was pretty innocent until the last, 20 minutes of the movie. And then it just goes crazy. So, I mean, to go from 0 to 100 in just a few minutes. So, I mean, I give her a little leeway. But then, when she goes to the lake and just sits down...
she has this thing where she keeps sitting... Like facing away from danger. Like in the pantry, she's facing away from the door that's about to open.
Yep.
And at the lake, she's facing away from ways that people could walk up. Like, are you...
Right.
I just... No.
Right. And then when she comes in, it's a good final fight scene. You got the oar. I like how she tries to block it and she cuts the oar in half.
Right through it, yeah.
And then it's just just a brawl. And you got... Pamela trying to stab her with the sharp end of the paddle. I mean, it's pretty intense. And then I like how finally Alice is done.
Oh, yeah.
She knocks her back, and then she runs, and there's the paddle right here that she would probably normally grab in the beginning of this fight. Nope, she goes 3-4 feet further for the machete, and then she turns around. She's not even trying to get away from her anymore. She's ready to end her, and then you see Pamela's face go, I done messed up.
And this moment, the score for this film sticks with it. But right here, what Harry Manfredini did was fantastic. Mm-hmm. And using this again, I believe in parts 2, 3, and 4. I could be mistaken on a couple of those, but I know it's used again in at least one of them, if not all 3 of them. For these finale stressful scenes is just perfect. Mm-hmm. Brilliant work.
Keep it simple. Keep it creepy. Like Alfred Hitchcocky and the fantastic. I mean, it just gets you in the mood to watch another Friday the 13th movie. You're just like, God, I need more of that.
Yeah, I'm probably going to watch 2 by the end of this weekend.
Right. Right. But then she cuts her head off, and then I don't know why. It's not really cheesy. It's just so iconic. I love it when she's and the hands come up just in that slow-mo. And there's no head. I just love it. I know it could be cheesy, but I don't know what it is. I just love it.
It looks good though.
It does.
The head being
wonk, and then
it does it in such a it's like slow mo, but it's not. I don't know how to explain it, and it looks well done.
Yeah,
it works. Now those hands are definitely not Betsy Palmer's hands, which we all know, but at the same time, still cool, still well done.
So then we get she pushes herself out on the boat, and Jason pops up out of nowhere. A boy Jason that's kind of messed up and decayed a little bit, and it's this big jump scare. And then it turns out to be a dream, and she's freaking out. Where's the boy? And then it pretty much ends there, and it goes back to the lake, which is I like the lake calm, but it's not calm. You know what I'm saying? I love that.
Yeah,
I like that. I like that little bit ending.
And I find it so funny that even people who were talking about when the film came out at the time, they knew it was coming, but they didn't know it was coming. Like, that Jason was going to come back out at that calm.
Yeah.
They knew something was going to happen, but they didn't know what. And that scene alone is what hooked so many people to go see it. Mm-hmm. It's, again, fantastic work on that.
Right. With something like this, and I'm not saying this isn't like a... well... You got to know what it is. not everything that's done on a cheap budget is a masterpiece. I'm not going to say this is a masterpiece, but I'm going to give it a little leeway because of the budget, because of the no-name actors, because of some stuff that was...
And what it spawned. I mean, like, the fact that the only thing standing in the way of any new development is a lawsuit. I mean, right now, this would be so profitable.
Right. But hey, let's take a second right there to say bravo to the fans and the filmmakers that are bringing us fan films. I mean, bravo to you. And we do appreciate you while we wait through this crap.
Yeah, like, between all of the fan films coming out, and there's even some that are not getting a lot of recognition that are popping up on YouTube. There's some that are still in development. I can think of a couple, like His Name Was Jason. I can't wait to see that.
Right.
I hope everything goes well there.
I know there's a little competition going between everybody, but we hope for the best for everybody.
Yes.
We appreciate what you guys do. If you catch a lot of flack because it's your first time or whatever, we just want to say that we appreciate you trying, because it's better than anything we could do.
And I can tell you, no matter what's coming out of any camps, I'm going to be watching all of the fan films. Yep. So
you have our support, and we appreciate you. So with that said, what would you rate the 1980 original Friday the 13th?
This is hard because it spawned the entire franchise, like I said earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we got all of this. And, I mean, I can't be hard on any of the Friday movies if one of my favorites is Part 8. So, I am going to give this a 9.
Whew.
And in horror speak, that is very high praise. I mean, if you look at the film, it had all the recipes right. It knew where it was going. It had a difficult yet good reveal. And... who actually turned out to be the killer was actually terrifying once you get there. So, 9.
Yeah. I think for me, I mean, this is a great movie, and I really love the last 20 minutes. You know, I mean, it's a lot of the same things throughout the franchise, but the last 20 minutes is fantastic. However, this is just not a movie. When I'm in the mood for Friday the 13th, this is just not the one I'm going to grab. I can appreciate it and I respect it for everything it did and set up and the acting that Betsy Palmer brought. But I'm going to give it a 7, which is not, it's not saying I don't like it. It's just I like some of the other ones better. They're a little bit more enjoyable. But definitely, like, if I ever feel like watching this movie, I'm probably going to throw it in and just watch the last 30 minutes. Like,
I can respect that. I can. Yeah.
So anyway, guys, let us know what you guys think of the original Friday the 13th. Let us know when the last time it was that you watched it, and if you kind of have the same thoughts, or if you have the complete opposite where you prefer Pamela over Jason.
Yeah, and also look out for, hopefully soon, we're going to have some reviews of some...
Right, Well, we've got to see what comes out. As of right now, it's just rumors, right?
Well, we know Friday the 13th Vengeance is coming out today. And we're hoping to have a review out within...
Yeah, as soon as possible.
Yes, as soon as possible.
We are going to watch it, and if we can resist watching it a second time, especially if it's great, we're going to try to shoot that review out. And we will, like we just said, we're going to be respectful, but we're going to also be honest. You know, and with some of the same things that we just talked about in the 1980 and what they went through, and you know, some things they used and starting off and things like that. So, I mean, we're not going to, even if it was for whatever reason horrible, we wouldn't bash it.
No, I'm really excited for this, and I've
no matter what, we appreciate and respect.
Yeah, I've met a few of you through the internet, Peter Anthony, Jason Brooks, Jules. You all are doing fantastic work, and I cannot wait to get this review up.
Yep. So make sure and like, comment, subscribe, share this, so that way hopefully we can get that review out also for this and for the fan films that are coming, because we want to support them and get that message out. Like, comment, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell so you can get some more R&R. Till next time, JK out.
I need Crazy Ralph. I need him.